Hello everyone, my name's FlareBlitzed and welcome to Dear Devere, an epistolary visual novel set in the Scottish Isles. This is part of the NaNoRenO visual novel jam 2020, Scotland 1937. I forgot what it's actually called now. So, log, preferences, menu, sounds good. Do we? Aha, we can save, lovely. At the very first glimpse of the story. Scotland, 1937, before WW2. Hey there. What have we got down here then in these woods, in this man cave? The silhouette of that hole looks like a ghost. Prologue. So this will be in the form of letters, this story. Angela Bard, P.O. Box 27, New Sawney, the Isle of Mull, Scotland.
I suppose I should start with a short summary of my life. I don't really feel like doing that, so I shall skip to the present.
Let me choose to see if I can make the voice louder. Let's see. Settings. Voice. Crank you up. Voice is louder than everything else, I would say, is the best thing. Are you sure?
I run a reading group with several other women in the town of Newsum. Every Saturday, the members come to my house to discuss a novel, chapter by chapter.
New Sawney, then.
We're currently reading Pride and Prejudice.
Okay.
I thought it would be fun. But then I realised that everyone was a friend of Eliza Frame.
Eliza?
Eliza does not like me.
Huh? Why?
God knows why she joined the reading group. If she dislikes me so much, why join in? It's beyond me.
Who knows? These stories don't unfold themselves.
But she does not like me. That much she has made clear. Always making comments about the state of my house.
You don't have to let her get to you, darling.
This week, she had the almighty nerve to complain about my window curtains. They're practically falling to pieces. No wonder you're not married, were her exact words as she rifled through them, revealing the inner thinner layers. I keep those curtains in that position for a reason, I wanted to say. But I bit my tongue. Who does she think she is, the curtain police?
Yeah, there's a particular department in the police called the Curtain Patrol.
It was trying enough when it was only Eliza, but now the others have been doing it. I have essentially been shunned out of my own group.
Yikes, just because of Eliza? How dare she?
Funny how the amount of work I did organising everything get forgotten and replaced with old curtains and teacups being the wrong colour. Or whatever it is that isn't up to Eliza's standards. It's all gossip and politics. My word against theirs. I generally keep to myself, so no one really knows me. But they know her. Of course they're going to listen to her.
Propaganda and all that when it comes to listening to a particular figurehead. Won't mention any here, but you probably know what I mean.
I recently read about the effects of venting one's frustrations onto paper, of writing to no one, with no intention of seeing the light of day.
White noise, as they would also call it, just gets lost within the abyss of other noises.
Sounds a bit doubtful to me, but I'm willing to try it. After I finish writing this, I'll go to the forest, just beyond the post office, and leave the envelope under a rock, where it will decompose.
I'm sure somebody else would pick it up and learn from it.
I'm almost at the end of the page. I thought this would work with helping to make me feel better, but it's not the same as actually writing to someone. It's like shouting down a hole. You're letting out your frustration, but no one can hear you.
Nobody will save you, even if you shout your loudest screams down there, down in that hole.
I'm not depressed. I'm angry.
Yet those two are very different. Both negative, but very different.
People hate me. and I hate them. I'm stuck having to see them every day at the shops, at the library, at the book club. And people are talking about another war possibly happening. Everything just feels so uncertain.
Mm-hmm.
I am rambling at this point, and I am wasting my time.
Yikes.
I am wasting postage stamps and envelopes. But if you're going to do something, I think it's important to make a proper job of it, including a return address and everything. If I'm going to be accused of one thing, it's not going to be of doing things by halves.
Well, didn't they have half pennies back in those days? Anyways, this voice is taking away my role. Not that I mind. Adds a bit of uniqueness to the visual novel.
Thanks for nothing, Angela Bard.
Thought that was it, Angela Bard. God, look at that postage stamp. That's beautiful. Like, that's even worthy of a screenshot by itself. Like, that is a beautiful postage stamp.
Dear Angela Bard,
Ooh.
Thank you for your letter. This Eliza Frame sounds like a right serpent.
She certainly does.
Forgive me if that was too far. I generally keep to myself as well, and I often wonder how out of practice I am with even the smallest interactions.
Mm-hmm.
Your letter has interested me strangely. Please, write to me again.
How do we know who to send it to, though? Or postbox address under the rock at the edge of the forest? Ardmore Forest?
Yours sincerely, Mr. Devere.
Devere, okay.
To Mr. Devere, what kind of joke is this? Who are you?
Who is this?
My letter interests you strangely. Well, the feeling's mutual. But you cannot expect me to continue writing to a perfect stranger. I don't know anything about you.
Yikes.
For all I know, you could be some sort of dreadful con man. I don't know if I trust you.
I don't know if I can trust somebody that I have no acknowledgement of, only by a name.
You wrote that you keep to yourself? Tell me, how is it that I don't recognize your surname at all? Even if you're a recluse, surely I would have at least heard of you.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about yourself. What's your daily routine like? Angela Bard.
Well, my daily routine is just looking under rocks to see if I can find discarded letters and pieces of paper. You know, stuff that will keep my time used up wisely.
P.S. I hope that I can trust you won't tell Eliza or anyone else about my letter.
Exactly. Another postage stamp. Don't know why, but this looks like forests of animals.
Dear Angela, it seems as though you have, unwittingly, given a lot of information to a stranger who hasn't returned the favour. I agree that that is unfair. I shall use this letter to remedy that.
It's quite a relaxing experience just listening to a visual novel that has voices in it. It sort of takes away your need to read it, but just listen to the voice itself that's reading the dialogue to you. It's a relaxing thing to have.
You requested that I write to you a recount of my daily routine. It took me a great deal of thinking to try and make this letter not bore you. But if I have failed, please forgive me.
You may have done.
I suppose I should write to you about today. I took a
Ardmore?
walk through the northern part of Ardmore Forest,
Ah.
taking in the tree-scented air. It's the kind of air that can feel icy down in your lungs in the morning, but I strangely enjoy it.
You enjoyed an icy feeling down in your lungs. That's a bit cold, don't you think?
There isn't a path where I go, but I know the forest very well. To the north, there is a very old yew tree, so big that the span of my arms cannot reach halfway around its trunk.
That's a big tree. A big tree with a big circumference.
At some point in its lifespan, it began to lean, and now it tilts to a degree that almost seems to defy gravity, looking as if it could fall at any moment, but never doing so.
The Leaning Tree of Ardmore.
It is beautiful.
It is a beautiful leaning tree.
This yew tree creates a nice patch of moist shade that is perfect for growing mushrooms. I collected some. These were a variety of Scarlatina bolete, a round, plump mushroom that tastes excellent when cooked, and then went on my way.
Okay.
My days involve a great deal of walking. I leave my home, a furnished cave well hidden in a large rock face, and take a wander. On other days, when there's too much rain, I'll stay inside, reading and drawing.
What exactly do you read and what do you draw?
While I generally don't leave the forest, I have all I need. I find some interesting curios around the forest. A dropped book here, an abandoned picnic basket there. My home even has a phonograph in almost perfect condition.
Almost. Are you saying there's a few chips around the edges then?
Several winters ago, I was lucky enough to discover that a human had left an almost unused case of painting supplies. Intrigued by the opportunity, I tried using it to paint.
Weren't you concerned about the human that was the original owner of the paint supply?
My first attempts were quite alarming failures, but I continued to practice. What you are holding in your hands is the fruit of my labours.
Practice makes perfect. The first 1,000 tries may be results that you don't want to have, but the 1,000th and the first try, that could be a little bit better, and a little better, and a little better, and then you have something which you can be very pleased and proud of. It's experience, patience, practice, persistence.
As I am writing this, I realise how much I'm leaving out. Let me tell you the whole truth here.
Okay.
You've probably noticed how I've used the word human instead of person. I may as well tell you now, instead of you inevitably piecing it together.
Well, stop leaving us hanging here. Speak it out.
You see, I'm not what you'd call human. There's no silver-tongued way of putting it.
Then what exactly are you? An angel? A demon? A troll?
You'll want proof that I'm not mad as a hatter. Of course you will. So I'll provide it. When you slumber tonight, I will send you a dream.
Right.
Don't be stressed. I mean you only well. Please.
We will see about that.
Yours sincerely, Mr. Devere. P.S. I have a plan at getting back at Eliza, if you're interested.
Let's see the response.
To Devere. Despite my assumptions, I'm convinced. At first I thought you were perhaps a friend of Eliza's, that you were trying to play some sort of mind game with me. But after a night of trying to sleep, I finally did. And what I dreamt felt so real.
Almost lucid-like.
I was walking through the forest, in a clearing. I found an ornate table holding a tea set and a serving tray covered in cakes. I somehow knew it was for me. I sat down in one of the chairs.
One of the chairs by the cakes.
When I did, something inexplicable happened. As happens often in dreams, the teapot rose up and poured a cup for me, and a cup for another.
A fairy tale.
You were invisible to me, but I knew you were sitting in the other chair. I looked down at movement on the ground. I could see your shadow and I saw horns. I had visions of fur and wolf's teeth and wings made out of feathers. I think I know what you are.
What are you?
But strangely, I did not feel afraid. Nor do I now. Do you understand? I enjoyed our tea party.
Lovely.
After seeing both your letters, I was inspired to make my own illustrated envelope. I tried to draw the dream you sent me. What do you think?
Some of the trunk's upside down. It's almost like this world has a very, very limited height dimension to it.
I have lots of questions. Can you do other magic? Do your letters go through the postal service? What do you look like? How old are you? I'm sorry if I'm being rude. I just want to paint a picture in my mind's eye.
No wonder why the game is tagged as supernatural, because it does have a bit of a supernatural essence now.
So you like taking walks? I was born in Australia, but moved to Scotland when I was a wee child. In Australia, my parents would have me go on long hikes with them in the bush. And we kept this tradition in Mull. I think I complained about it as a child, but now I look back at it fondly. I live alone, which I like. I don't mind the isolation. In fact, I enjoy it.
Likewise.
God knows why I wanted to start a reading group with the other women in the town. Which, once again, brings me back to the subject of Eliza. What do you have in mind for getting back at her? Signed, Angela.
Trap her soul in an eternal nightmare, ensuring that she would never wake up. Nah, that's too cruel. No punishment is worth an eternal coma. A key! A key has been added to your inventory. It's metallic, ornate, and well polished. How is that the case? How did we receive a key? A key for being patient? Perhaps, I'm not too sure. And a door. You find a cupboard. It's hidden near a corner close to the ground, but it looks dusted and well used, like the owner opened and closed it frequently. It is locked. We'll use the wonderful key inside the door. Envelopes. There is a bundle of letters here inside. I was going to say a bunch of letters inside, but a bundle of letters inside. A bunch of bundles of letters. Act 1. How many acts are within this demo? Unless, of course, this is a full game. Doobie-doobie-doobie-doo. No, I think this is a full game. This isn't the demo, this is like the real thing. The full thing.
Dear Angela. What? Magic isn't enough for you. You want more?
We always desire for more at the end of the day. It's just a human emotion.
I joke, but I'll try to explain my abilities, though it's difficult to properly articulate them. Firstly, I can pick up any object and detect where it came from. I hold it in my hands and concentrate. It's how I found your address.
Really now?
It's like looking through a keyhole. If I can concentrate enough, I can go further and feel where the object originally came from. For example, the stamp collection I found was from a poet from New Sorn, but the stamps were originally printed in Britain.
Wow.
If I tried my hardest, I could perhaps find out that the paper used to make the stamps were from a tree cut down in Canada.
Like, just like that?
My powers don't extend to making letters appear from thin air, so I resort to a more human method.
Okay.
The post office is fortunately just beyond the edge of town, so I drop off my letters when no one's looking.
So that explains why you don't want anybody to see you, why you have those horns of yours, those feathers of yours.
Then there's the dreams, which you experienced firsthand. I put myself in a sort of meditative state and can walk through human dreams, manipulating my surroundings while I'm there. While I can influence dreams to an extent, I cannot speak in them.
So that's how we can't really see you, but your shadow is there. You're there, but you're not physically there?
While I do have a true form, I can take on many others. In a way, all my paintings are self-portraits. It's silly, but when I read that you wanted to know what I look like, I felt oddly exposed.
Oh no, I've been found out! I'm just a unicorn!
I don't wish to explain my appearance, even vaguely. Perhaps it's better if you picture me however dashing or gruesome you wish.
Or both.
I'm old enough to think for myself, but quite new compared to others of my kind. I can't give you exciting first-hand accounts of the 18th century poets who used to walk the Isles of Mull, cutting each other with their tongues and pens.
For some odd reason, I thought that said something else at first, and I deeply apologise.
But I'm not so young that I don't know how to cook mushrooms alone.
Ooh.
They were delicious, by the way.
Oh yeah, you did say something about cooking mushrooms.
Here's my plan. On the night before Saturday, I shall give Eliza a very specific dream. During the day of the reading group gathering, act natural. If she gives you any trouble, gather yourself up, look her in the eye, and tell her to stop wailing like a banshee. Tell her that verbatim.
Ooh, a plan, huh?
Please write back to me and tell me what happens. If Eliza doesn't change her tune, I can always send her a nightmare or 3. Yours sincerely, Devere.
Being quite friendly towards us, but not towards Eliza.
P.S. I loved your postcard illustration. It's the line work of someone who has practiced drawing for years. I had no idea you did art.
Well, now you know. We're quite alike when it comes to illustrated works. Ooh. Ardmore Forest, Rock, Befield, Glenmore Castle, the post office, New Sawn, Sawney, my home and the library, along with a postage stamp.
Dear Devere, today I had a very strange experience. I ran a book club meeting that didn't end with me feeling drained and wanting to pull my hair out.
Yikes.
The 5 women came to my house again to review the chapter of Pride and Prejudice. We were talking about Elizabeth Bennet's rejection of Mr. Collins when Eliza's biting nature came out once again.
Oh dear, curtains were out of line again.
She compared me to the character Elizabeth, a woman who will never find a man who truly loves her because no one would be attracted to her prickly personality. The irony of Eliza not knowing how the book ends did not escape me.
Anyways, there's always somebody out there regarding of your personality. You have a type, I have a type, the person next door has a type, the person that lives on the opposite side of a village, or city, or town, wherever you live, or in the middle of nowhere, the next house along, that person, they have a type, and they also have a type that attracts to them, and vice versa. Regardless of how you think of it, there is always a type for everybody, including the most tyrannical, heinous of people.
I did exactly what you had advised. I stood up, looked her in the eye, and told her to stop wailing like a banshee. The effect was immediate. She stood there, still as a stone, with a look of shock, as if I had struck her. What on earth did you show her?
The method on how she will meet her demise by a Medusa.
After that, she stopped spitting venom at me for the rest of the day, only speaking to talk about the novel. Whatever you did, Devere, thank you. For this envelope, I tried to draw the town. I even pulled out some old paintbrushes I had in storage. This is the path I take to send off my letters to you.
Yay.
Can you visit me sometime? I want to meet you. Signed, Angela.
That's a bit too forward, don't you think? Shouldn't you be sending a few more letters before you meet face to face? Ooh. This one's a bit more spoopy in a way.
Dear Angela, I'm
astrology.
afraid visiting your home would not be possible. An old magic prevents me from entering the town.
You're saying entering the town, but that doesn't mean that we can't meet up. Because you say enter the town, but it doesn't mean enter the world.
I could visit you through your dreams, but I'll always show up hazy if I appear at all. And I'll always be unable to speak, which doesn't make for fun or witty conversation. It's not the same as the real thing, is it?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry.
It's all good, man.
As for Eliza, I simply took her insecurities and amplified them. Let's just say that your exact words to her would have ignited a memory. Don't worry, I didn't traumatize her. I merely had her take a good long look at herself and how she treats others.
Yep.
Don't let Eliza's words get into your head. You have many qualities that are attractive.
Aww.
And anyone with an ounce more sense than a teacup will see that.
Aren't you the charmer?
Thank you for sharing this correspondence with me. I don't generally get to talk to others. Yours sincerely, Devere.
Dear Devere.
Dear Devere. That sounds so tragic. Because you've given me so much comfort through your letters. A strange thing happened the other day. Another woman said something nasty. But instead of saying something back to her, I didn't. I just felt unpleasantly sorry for her. The realization that she was just a person who didn't understand came crashing upon me.
So you're saying they're more of an ignorant person than a person that's just stupid? A person who doesn't get it rather than a person that gets it but chooses to ignore it. Their own problem. A problem is only as big as its biggest motive to be lashed out in the first place.
I thought about the advice you gave me. The reason why I'm not married is not because I don't wish to be. Like Elizabeth Bennet, I've rejected the advances of men in the town, even as recently as a few weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
No. The reason why I've never married
Exactly.
is because I haven't found the right person. Or rather, because I hadn't found the right person.
I had not found the right person?
Devere, there's something I need to say.
What?
I've developed feelings for you. I love you.
What's the time span between the first letter that he sent you and then now? Because this is really absurd that you would or have these kind of feelings for Devere.
Oh, it feels good to confess this. To commit it to paper. And if you're reading this, it means I found the courage to deliver it. Do you return these feelings? I worry that I've destroyed something wonderful we already have. I pray this is not the case. Love, Angela.
Dearest Angela,
Stonehenge.
how can I not return your feelings? Your letters brighten up my existence. When I wake up, I look forward to walking to the edge of Ardmore Forest to see if you've left me a new addition to our correspondence. When I got the part of your letter where you told me your feelings, I felt whole.
Aww.
Like a void I didn't know being healed. I love you. It hardly sums up my feelings, those 3 words. I can feel my heart racing. I love you. I will show you this poem I've written. It's soppy, I know. But forgive me. When I think of you, I am undone. It was by yonder fell and glen I saw the fairest maiden. And since that day with yearning pain, my heart was sorely laden. I love and worship you, dear one. For all your troubles I shall quell. I will take these fires for you. I fear not fate nor hell.
Sounds like a Shakespeare quote, or something that is written in one of Shakespeare's stories. It's really bizarre that schools nowadays still take inspiration from Shakespeare, despite the fact that it's a good 200, 300 years old since those plays and stories were written. Goes to show how brilliant an individual can be.
Be well, Angela. Yours, Devere.
1937, Scotland. The phone goes off. And there's barking in the background. Hello? Is everything okay? Oh, we click and choose. Evening, Inspector. Have you found Miss Barge yet? Oh, we're playing as somebody else now. Save time. Into another part of the story. Not yet. I'm going to return to the abandoned cave tomorrow morning. I hope to find more evidence. Very well. Let me know if there are any developments in the case. Yes, sir. Goodbye. Are they inspecting the paranormal then? Act 2. Ooh, this looks a bit messy. I think we'll end things off here for today, folks, as it is now the next act. Not sure how many acts there are in this game, but I am thoroughly enjoying this. It's a very pleasant experience between two individuals, and a very different way of delivering a story as well through letters, which is pretty unique. But I'm not sure how much time goes between each letter, so whether if it's weeks, days, maybe just even hours. But it does take some time to walk to the post office, it would look like, so it can't be just mere minutes. But thank you all so much for watching, guys. This has been Dear Devere so far, and I'll see you all in the next time. Thank you very much for watching, and take care of yourselves.